Hey guys, Drifter here. I've always viewed cars as a symbol of American freedom, independence, and sometimes escape from everyday life. There's nothing more relaxing than getting in your car, driving out to the country, and just leaving the world behind for a few hours. The open road is yours to roam as you see fit, or at least it used to be. A new federal law that goes into effect in late 2026 will require all new vehicles to have a wide array of driver monitoring software that is always on, and for that software to have the ability to turn your car off, making it quite literally a government kill switch that is built into your car. A few years ago, a statement like this would have come off as the paranoid ramblings of Dale Gribble, but unfortunately it's 100% true. The law that we're talking about is the Drive to HALT Drunk Driving Act, and it was passed as a part of the 2021 Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. It's going to change vehicle ownership, privacy, and personal freedoms forever. Today I'm going to tell you about the origins of this law, who voted for it, the type of surveillance technology that it requires to be in your vehicles, why this is a problem, and what you can do about it. So let's talk a little bit about where this law came from. As a science and tech creator, I love to blame Orange Man for as many things as I possibly can, but this was an almost entirely one-sided issue, with the winning side being Democrats. Senate Democrats voted for this unanimously, and about a third of Republicans also did. In the House of Representatives, it was nearly unanimous for Democrats, and a handful of Republicans also joined them to get the bill passed. The motivation for this was to reduce the amount of drunk driving deaths every year by having technology that could automatically detect if a driver was drunk. Groups like MAD, or Mothers Against Drunk Driving, and other driving safety advocacy groups, including a couple of insurance companies, lobbied for this new law. And as per usual in our society, the road to hell is paved with good intentions. This new law required automakers to install anti-drunk driving technology in all new cars within 5 years after its passage. The law's text is relatively short, you can see it on screen. It directs the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, or NHTSA, to require a passive system that detects drunk driving, with passive being the key word here, because the only way for a system to operate passively is for it to always be on and always be monitoring the driver. So the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration was supposed to codify rules for the advanced impaired driving prevention technology, and like most government agencies, it missed the deadline to do so, which was set in 2024. However, it did get an extension all the way to 2026, and as of recording this video, that extension is only a couple of weeks away from expiring. So by the time this video is recorded, that extension will have either been expired, renewed, or implementation will have already begun. The goal for the deployment of this program, its regulations and technology, is that sometime between literally now and early 2027, that all new vehicles will have this passive drunk driving software installed. And before we go any further, it's very important to note that this applies to new vehicles only. So if you already own a pre-2027 vehicle, you will not be spied on or bound by any of the regulations that we're about to talk about today. And what I want to talk about is what's actually required to be in your new car, and the best way to start with that is what the law requires. The law is very short and simple, and it requires exactly 3 things. Software that monitors a driver's performance to identify impairment of a driver, passively detects a blood alcohol level equal to and exceeding 0.8 BAC, or detects impairment and prevents or limits vehicle operation. It's almost like Asimov's 3 laws of AI. It seems very simple, but there's a lot of derivatives that we can pull out of this. You might be thinking about one of those breathalyzer cars that somebody has to drive if they got a DUI, and a breathalyzer in every car unfortunately would not satisfy this because it's not passive. You have to actively blow into the breathalyzer before the car will start. This law requires a system that will automatically detect a drunk driver, whether they want to blow into a breathalyzer or not. So now let's go over some of the technologies that will satisfy this requirement. And surprise, surprise, they're technologies that are already being built into most new smart vehicles. Number 1 is an infrared camera system. These are high frame rate cameras, such as those used by the companies Mobileye and Smart Eye. They track eye movement, blink rates, and head position at about 60 FPS, and their goal is to identify drowsy or distracted driving. They basically take advantage of the built-in 4K 60 FPS webcams and image recognition technology to track everything going on with your face. The thing they're looking at most is your rate of blinking, because it's been scientifically proven that the sleepier you are, the more you start to blink, and also the more total amount of time that your eyes will be closed. So if your blink rate gets too low, then the system will know that you're a sleepy driver. And you would think that alcohol consumption would be about the same as being sleepy, but it actually makes you blink more frequently than normal to compensate for dryness and eye irritation. So a system like this could notice if you're blinking significantly more than your baseline and flag you as potentially being drunk and distinguish that from you potentially being sleepy. This feature could save lives, but again, it needs to constantly record and analyze your face in order to be able to work. Next up, the onboard cameras can often tell what you're looking at and what direction your head is turned. It's basically a measure of if you're paying attention or not, which will be worse when you're inebriated. These technologies and software packages are already being installed in cars and commercial trucks at the moment, and it's usually marketed as a smart gesture recognition for the consumers. It allows the driver to give commands to the vehicle simply with waves of their hands and flicks of their fingers, which I do admit is very convenient when it works. And this particular area of automotive technology is expected to grow to over a $7 billion market in the next 7 years. So while you do get gesture commands, you also kind of sort of get spied on. There's several existing technologies that can detect blood alcohol level by constantly measuring air quality in the cabin of the vehicle. It's basically the more scientific version of when a cop pulls you over and says, "I smell beer," but it might not be so accurate because a passenger could be drunk, or you could just have an open or leaking container and also trip this sensor. Alternatives do include more advanced infrared cameras that can measure your alcohol levels through your skin, like it's the predator looking at you while you're driving. And some vehicles already have a push-to-touch version of this, where you can just put your hands on the steering wheel and it can sense the blood alcohol levels in your fingers or see how flush your face gets. So of all of the invasive and frustrating technology in the list, I think these two are probably the most practical at solving the problem while compromising privacy the least, but I do hate that they're not optional. Toyota recently patented a passive heart rate detection system, so I guess soon vehicles will be able to tell if your heart rate changes and how that correlates to your level of inebriation. And I gotta be honest with you, my heart rate goes up every single time I have to drive in Dallas traffic. There are already a lot of existing systems that have this kind of technology integrated into it. Most of it has to do with driver convenience or self-driving or autopilot. There's GM's Super Cruise has a lot of this technology. Ford's Blue Cruise, Mercedes-Benz has Drive Pilot, Rivian has Highway Assist, Tesla infamously still working on self-driving, that'll come out eventually, and BMW's Active Cruise Control, which requires driver engagement. Pretty much all of these technologies do assist the driver in driving and managing the vehicle, but almost all of them, if not literally all of them, also have driver monitoring software that as of now is at least just required for the self-driving to work, but in the future it'll be a government mandate and it'll be constantly scanning you for even more information like how drunk you are. The kill switch part of this law is also poorly defined. It's unclear if the vehicle would refuse to start or if it would shut down mid-operation, or more realistically, it would be put in a limited capacity mode with greatly reduced speed and steering capabilities, which would pretty much force the driver to pull over to the side of the road and park somewhere. Also very important to note that there are no legal requirements or restriction on the car manufacturers collecting of this data from you instead of just using it for safety. They will be free to collect, store, and sell and repackage as much of this data as they want. So next up, you're probably going to want to ask, can I disable these features? Can I just buy a new car and turn them off? And the short answer is basically no. It's probably going to be illegal to tamper with most of these systems. Now, in North America, we do have plenty of freedom to modify the items that we own, but it will violate vehicle warranties, become uninsurable, and states may not be as willing to grant you vehicle registrations if you do. So the most common area would be tampering violations. Once this is implemented as a federal motor vehicle safety standard, disabling the system will likely fall under existing federal laws that prohibit manufacturers, dealers, and even independent repair businesses from making safety devices inoperative. If you're leasing or financing your vehicle, then disabling this system would probably constitute a breach of contract. And finally, if you're a private owner, again, it's often illegal for a business to remove this safety equipment, but you could do it yourself itself. However, doing so would likely have consequences related to passing vehicle inspections, safety certifications, or insurance coverage. So maybe if you own a large farm and want to drive around your brand new uninsured truck only on that farm and never take it out onto the road, that might be legal, but pretty much anything else is going to have some degree of bureaucracy attached to it. Now, in the back part of the video, I want to talk about why I believe this is a major privacy and security risks, and a little bit background again. So one of the biggest advocates for this technology is Mothers Against Drunk Driving. They are in many ways a group that I significantly look up to because there are very few things in this world that I hate more than a drunk or inebriated driver. While I'm going to talk about privacy concerns in a moment, I really want to emphasize just how much I think society under-punishes drunk driving. I think drunk driving should be a one and done kind of deal. Even if it's your first time driving drunk, you should lose your license for at least a year, if not more. Repeat offenses, you should just immediately lose your license. It kills about 12,000 people per year, and drunk driving severely injures over 300,000 people per year every single year. This is a massive problem and a massive drain on our society that we treat as if it's like a nothing burger and give repeat offenders a little slap on the wrist. I personally think it's abhorrent that our society doesn't seem to care, and we do need to do something about this problem. Unfortunately, MAD and other groups like them seem to believe that the best way to do this is encroaching on our right to privacy. So MAD, for its part, says that the technology will save more than 10,000 lives per year, and they go on to say that it does not introduce new privacy risks beyond the data already generated by modern vehicles, and it should not require personal data to be stored or shared. The sole purpose is simple and limited: to stop someone from driving while illegally impaired. Now, it is true that car manufacturers were adding these features anyway, but now they're mandatory features. All car manufacturers will be required to add these features, which I guess will just accelerate the process that we were already on. It'll also be illegal for you to disable them. So if you purchase a new vehicle and kind of want to hack your smart car or do something with it or make some changes, a lot of those changes are going to make the vehicle not road legal. And very importantly, there are no laws requiring that car manufacturers can't collect your personal data, so of course they will. The government's going to require that they collect all of this personal data. They're going to build this technology into the car, pass that cost off to the consumer. You won't be able to disable it, and you probably also won't be able to opt out of them collecting your personal data. So in the future, the open road will no longer be a wide open place for you to roam freely. You will instead be traveling under the constant surveillance from both the state and whatever company manufactured your vehicle. That ability to disconnect from society and just disappear for a little while will itself, unfortunately, just disappear. It's important to keep in mind that these types of systems are vulnerable to exploits by hackers. So just imagine a future where somebody can hack into your car, or really any car, and shut it down remotely, or hack your car and fool the drunk driving detection software, or load in false data, or really do God knows what with it, maybe just spy on you. As we make our vehicles more complex and load in monitoring technology, we inherently make them less secure. It's important to keep in mind that these are vehicle manufacturers and not software companies. If you've purchased an electric vehicle, or really any vehicle in the last couple of years that isn't a Tesla or Rivian, then you've probably noticed just how far behind major auto manufacturers are on their software. The security isn't much better. And that's to say nothing of sometimes just having a glitchy or bad update. There's going to be a ton of different car models and manufacturers and softwares, and it's just going to be a complete mess. Also, literally all of this is going to get fed into an AI for analysis, which is only going to further compromise your data and waste the resources of the planet. So if you don't like this, if you would not like to live in this future, there is a bill proposed in Congress by Representative Perry Scott, who's a Republican from the 10th District of Pennsylvania, and he's proposed a very simple bill called H.R. 1137, No Kill Switches in Cars Act, which repeals the requirement to have the passive drunk driver detection system installed in vehicles. The text of the bill is incredibly short and simple, so if you don't like this kind of surveillance technology in your vehicles, I'd highly encourage you to call your local representative and ask them to support this bill. In a time of partisan politics, I realize that not everybody wants to get along and cooperate, but it only takes a couple of detractors from either party to get a bill passed.